Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, we do random reviews of CDs from the overflow room, and a lot of you have asked me to talk about books on classical music, and it just so happens I have like tens of thousands of them. This is the overflow room annex, if you want to call it that, and as you can see, it's sort of a work in progress. We have shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves of books and scores and all this stuff. It's like, electrical appliances and just all books on music. Well, I also have Richard Feynman's collected lectures on quantum chromodynamics, just because I was curious, and the complete Primo Levi and cookbooks and some other things mixed in. But essentially, they're all books about classical music. And so I thought I'd do a couple videos of random reviews of classical music books. We'll just talk about some of them. And if you like it, we can do more. And if nobody gives a damn, we'll do less. But, you have to give it a shot, because I really do have a pile of stuff. You think about the books is that they're not all down here in the annex. Of course, I have tons of stuff upstairs. I have a whole other room full of scores and books on music. My guest room, the guests are the scores, basically. And also, it's easier because, books come in bookshelves. So wherever you have a bookcase, you can shove books. So, I've got books everywhere. But I have CDs everywhere too, I guess. So what the hell? Let's go through this pile and see where we wind up. And we'll do a few of these first. Well, look what I found here on Dover. Mozart's letters. Oh, these are so much fun. They really are. Mozart wrote absolutely terrific letters. Some of them are really long. Maybe we should just do some like Mozart letter videos and things like that. There's the one from Paris where his mother passed away, and oh, here we go. Let's see. Want to read one? Should we just read a Mozart letter? There's something so cool about that. To his dad. Oh, Mozart to his son. Oh, my goodness. Yes. And then to his father. He's in Paris, which is where his mother passed away. It was very, very sad. And let's see. To his father. I hope you received my last two letters safely. In the last, I discussed my mother's homeward journey. Yes, but I see from your letter of the 12th that this was quite unnecessary. Not for a moment did I ever suppose that you would do anything but disapprove the journey with the Webers. Oh, yes. Remember, he married Constanze Weber, I think. For I myself never entertained the idea in our present circumstances, be it understood. But I had given my word of honor to write to you as I did. Herr Weber does not know how we stand. Indeed, I tell no one. And greatly desiring to be in a position of independence with prosperity for us all, I forgot in the intoxication of the moment to present impracticability of the matter, and the present impracticability of the matter, and consequently also forgot to inform you of what I have now done. That was Mozart and his relationship to his dad. My last two letters will have informed you sufficiently of the reason why I did not go to Paris. If my mother herself had not opened the subject, I should certainly have traveled with the Wendlings, but observing that she did not like the prospect, I began to dislike it myself, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's just lots of things. And so they're going back and forth, and all kinds of stuff happens. That's Mozart. I could go through that and pick out the juicy ones, but we'll think about it. Oh, this is very interesting and sad. The autobiography of Karl von Dittersdorf. As if you would care. Dittersdorf was, you may recall, an enormously popular composer in Vienna, and he was a friend of Gluck. He hung out with Gluck. He hung out with Haydn and Mozart. They all knew him. He was very, very popular, but like so many composers, his star faded. He became ill. He lost everything and died impoverished. Fortunately, there was a noble who was friendly to him and who gave him a house on his estate and a place to live after he passed away. This is really, really terrible. Here's his last, the end of his sort of the end of his biography. And it's a really sad commentary on what happened to so many artists, fine artists in the day, because they had, Haydn was always desperate to earn enough money so that in his old age he could be supported. And remember, in those days, you got sick, you paid a fortune for medical care, and it did nothing. It was all just, hokum. So he writes, since this epoch, a very sad one for me and my poor family, I have become so much worse that I am a regular cripple, and I have to be carried from my bed to the armchair and from my armchair to the bed. My resources, owing to the expenses of doctors, physic, and 3 sets of baths, those of Ohlsdorf, Landeck, and Teschen, have dwindled to the last farthing. And last year, when a leading doctor of Baden near Vienna advised me to take the waters there, I found that I must despair of this remedy for want of means. I long for my release. That's what he writes. For nearly 2 years, I've been living on Baron Silfried's property, Rothelhotta, in the Tabor district near Neuhaus, free of cost. And yet I am still, in every respect, a beggar, for I have to pay every year in cash out of my pension interest on mortgage debts, and he gives a list, the war tax, house and ground rent, a servant to help my son in lifting me and carrying me about. He has to watch rather than to sleep with me all night, a maidservant and a laundress. Those were his expenses, thus leaving me a surplus of 149 florins. You may judge if such a sum enables me to clothe 5 people and to pay other little necessary expenses. My things disappear one after the other to the tune of 1/3 or even less than 1/3, I suppose, of their intrinsic value. And when they are all gone, what then? It's just really the end. I frankly own the last paragraph. Dear reader, please do not suspect me of writing down what I have said above in order to extract an alms from you for myself. Most likely I shall be no more by the time you get this little book. When my tumble-down cottage has quite fallen into ruins, should anyone come to the rescue of my poor family, may the good Lord reward him. I frankly own that I have brought my people into deep distress. Poverty in the first instance, and then my illness was the cause. But my poverty should plead for me to some extent. I am not to blame for getting so small a pension after 26 years' service, nor for having to expend the last farthing that I have saved on doctors' bills, apothecaries' drugs, and baths without deriving any benefit from them. Still, I am to blame for paying so little heed to my health, all the more because kindly nature endowed me with a firm and strong constitution, against which, fool that I was, I designedly made war. Alas, alas, I must exclaim with Father Horace. Then there's a Latin thing at the end, which you have to deal with. But, it's so sad. And he had such an interesting life. My goodness, he traveled around with Gluck, and he was everywhere and knew everybody. And oh, boy, that was life then. Then we've got, the Cambridge Opera Handbooks, Monteverdi's Orfeo by John Wenham. These are it's a very handy series to have, about the composition, reception, performance history, all of that stuff. It's really nice. It's only not printed on acid-free paper, and it's starting to turn yellow, which annoys the crap out of me because they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. Then we've got The Symphony, A Listener's Guide by Michael Steinberg. I don't know how many of you remember Michael Steinberg. He was a wonderful, wonderful critic and program note annotator, program note writer. He did the program notes for the San Francisco Symphony and many other orchestras around the country. And he took those and he turned them into this wonderful book, which gives you a survey of the basic symphonic literature. A terrific writer, just a wonderful guy. I was fortunate enough to know him before he passed away. And I was going to write a review of this book, actually, and I never got to it. And I felt really bad about it because my own grandfather passed away at the same time. Well, not the same time, just when I was planning on doing it. So I was delayed, and then he passed away. So it was really unfortunate. But maybe I could make it up a little bit now by recommending his work. If you see Michael Steinberg's name attached to anything musical, you should read it. He was really, really, really sharp and good. Then we've got here, this is very interesting, The Great Transformation of Musical Taste. This is a fabulous book. Very, very interesting book. Concert Programming from Haydn to Brahms by William Weber. This is Cambridge. I mean, some of these things are terribly expensive. This is a paperback reissue, thank God. And grounded in the knowledge of thousands of programs, this book examines how musical life in London, Paris, Leipzig, Vienna, Boston, and other cities underwent a fundamental transformation in relationship with movements in European political life. William Weber traces how musical taste evolved in European concert programs from 1750 to 1875 as separate worlds arose around classical music and popular songs. In 1780, a typical program accommodated a variety of tastes through a patterned miscellany of genres held together by diplomatic musicians. This framework began weakening around 1800 as new kinds of music appeared, from string quartets to quadrilles to ballads, which could not easily coexist on the same programs. Utopian ideas and extravagant experiments influenced program as ideological battles were fought over who should govern musical taste. More than 100 illustrations or transcriptions of programs enable readers to follow Weber's analysis in detail. If you care about the history of musical programming and changing tastes over a couple of centuries, this is the book for you. This is really an interesting read. And last but not least, these are random, you may have guessed, but what the heck? I'm still putting everything away. I mean, as you can see over here, we've got boxes of books that I have yet to unpack, and so we're getting there. And then maybe some year I'll alphabetize some things. I don't really care. Leo's Janáček by Jaroslav Vogel. This was the authoritative biography. Now there have been quite a few other books on Janáček, some of which I think are more interesting than this one, but this gets the basic story out there. And it's revised and prepared by Karol Janowicki. That it gives you all the sort of the basics. I've had this for a long time, and it's also starting to turn kind of a funny color from the pages. But there you have it, a pile of books on music, and I hope you enjoyed this little survey. We'll do another one, and we'll see where this goes. Because if you like it, we can do endless more. This blue thing, by the way, these are all the Richard Strauss operas. This is the Richard Strauss opera critical or complete edition. The orchestral music I have upstairs. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me and reading. Take care.